Now we want to write a macro which will write the major line items of the income statement in Excel, and it will demand the input for income statement items from the user. Now to write a macro, first let us insert another module. So go to view, click on Project Explorer. Now click on insert and click on module. In module 1 we have already got 4 different macros. If you want, then you can keep on adding more and more macros in the same module. You just need to keep in one thing in mind: there should not be two programs with the same program name. So what I am doing, I am not writing the fifth macro in module 1, I am writing the fifth macro in module 2. If you have two macros with the same name, then you need to write the macros into separate modules. Let me write sub first, enter. So what I want income statement items in Excel first. So I'll write range B5 dot select active cell dot value is equal to sales. Simply copy this and paste it like this. Now change this B5 to B6 and this sales to COGS, this B5 to B7 and this sales to SG&A, this B5 to B8, and at last this should be EBITDA. This particular macro will only write sales, COGS, SG&A and EBITDA in Excel. But what I want the user to input the values for sales, COGS and SG&A, and EBITDA will be automatically calculated. Now first we need to define three different variables. To define variables we use dim command X, Y and Z. These are the three different variables that we have defined. Now what is X? X is equal to input box, enter sales here. Now copy this and paste it. Change this X to Y, this X to Z. Change the comment as well, COGS here and SGA here. Now to run this program, what we need to do, we need to either press F5 or click on this button. Let me click on this button. So what it has done, it has written sales, COGS, SGA and EBITDA in the defined cells. This input box is coming because of this particular statement in macro. So what it is asking, it is asking to enter sales. So I am writing 1200 sales, 500 COGS and 300 SG&A. What has done? Nothing. I have written a macro which has only taken the values from the user, but I have not written the macro to put those values in Excel. So what we need to do, now we need to write that macro as well, which will put the values into Excel also. So let me first delete this. Here what I will do, I will write range D5 dot value is equal to X. Let me copy this and paste it. Let's change this D5 to D6, this D5 to D7, and at last this should be Y and this should be Z. Now one more thing we need the calculation for EBITDA. How do we calculate EBITDA? Sales minus COGS minus SG&A will give you EBITDA. So I am defining one more item here, comma, let's say E for EBITDA. Now what is E? E is equal to X minus Y minus Z. If you want to put this statement here, you can put it here. Otherwise I can put it just below the input boxes. And here I will write, let me copy this and paste it. Change this D7 to D8, and at last I will write E. Now let us run the program. To run the program, press F5. Now just see what is happening. Income statement items have been written in Excel. Now the first input box, which is the value for X, that is sales, is here. We need to put the values for sales in the box. So let me write 1500. Second is now enter COGS. I am writing 500. Third is SG&A. So I am writing only 200. Okay. Now just see that the value which I had written in the input boxes have been put in these three different cells, and the calculation of 800, which is EBITDA, was done based on this particular statement, and these codings are writing the values which we have recorded above. Now let's suppose that rather than displaying the values of EBITDA as 800, you want to put up a formula here. What will be the formula? The formula will be equal to sales minus COGS minus SG&A. This will be the formula. So rather than, like in this case, I have written the formula in Excel, but what we want the macro to write this formula in Excel. So let me simply first cut this, and here range D8, what I'm doing, rather than writing the value, I'll write formula here, formula, and I will not write E here. What I will do, I'll put it under inverted comma the formula itself, under inverted comma. Now what this coding will do, this coding will write the formula which I have written under inverted comma in D8. Now we don't even need the calculation of EBITDA separately, as we are writing the formula here itself. This formula will be written in Excel and the calculations will be performed. So let me delete it first time. Now press F5. Enter sales, let's say 2000. COGS, let's say 1000. SG&A, let's say 500. Just see that. Now in EBITDA we do not have the calculation, we have the formula itself. So in this particular macro, what we have learned how to take the values from the user with the command input box, and how to define the variables and how do we use them, and how macro will write the values which have been taken from the user.